Welcome and thanks for tuning in to this episode of Conversations with the Wastewater Whisperer, Lewis Titus of Titus Wastewater Solutions. So, Lewis, I want to talk about oxidation dishes today because also known as racetracks. And from what I understand, and maybe you can shed some light on this, they have some inherent problems when it comes to, yes, it works. In principle, it works, but they've got some real maintenance nightmare and challenge issues that come up as far as keeping them optimally running. And so what in, your experience have you seen are those biggest challenges? And you mentioned to me that you think that you have found a way to solve some of those headaches.
Yes, we have. Short answer, we have solved the problem with oxidation ditches or racetracks. Uh, and they have a lot of number of problems. Some of the same problems they have in lagoons with mechanical aerators, but most of these racetracks, they have some sort of mechanical aerator. Usually it's either a brush aerator or a disc aerator or a low speed surface aerator. All of them have a lot of moving parts, gearboxes, belts, all kinds of stuff to break down. And it's very expensive to do the maintenance on them to keep them running. And when they do break down, it's not a simple matter to get them fixed. Some of the other issues, it's cold weather performance. You're throwing water up in the air. Again, in cold weather, it has a tendency to freeze. Keeping solids suspended properly. When you got a brush that's basically just contacting the surface of the water on that ditch, which is what it does, it's spinning in the water and it's throwing the water up in the air. Well, it's taking the water off the surface and it's depositing the high DO water back onto the surface. It really has no way to drive that DO down into the canal to where they can get the benefit of high DO water. So a lot of the efficiency is wasted there. They also have a hard time keeping all the solids suspended, and especially up in the ends, if they have brush aerators, in the end of the racetrack, they'll get solids build up. One of my reps was at a racetrack in Idaho here just last week, and he was asking about it, and they'd never done a sludge survey. And so they went out and took a look at it, took a sludge judge out there, and it was almost to the surface with sludge on the very end of the ditch. And so they're in a critical position where they're going to have to do something. They're going to have to dredge, or they're going to have to do something mechanically remove. They're going to have to get rid of the sludge, though. It's full. So the whole object of a racetrack is to keep the solid suspended in high dissolved oxygen water and get your solids retention time. That is where your solids are exposed to high DO water and bacteria for enough time for the bacteria to digest the organic material. That's the 100% object of this. It's no different really than an oxidation or than an aeration basin or even a lagoon. A lot of these oxidation ditches was the next step up from lagoons. People went from lagoon systems, built a plant, put an oxidation ditch in. So it is the next step up from a lagoon. A lot of maintenance challenges.